So the Joust at the Indiana Renaissance Fair, easily one of the best I've ever seen. Hi, I'm Hannah. Thank you so much for coming to my channel where I talk all things costuming, cosplay, and events. This video we are talking about the Indiana Renaissance Fair, not to be confused with the Southern Indiana Renaissance Fair. That is a separate Renaissance Fair. It is on my list and I do hope to get there someday. This is a relatively new fair. I kept seeing things online like, it's back. And I was like, where did it go? While I was walking around the vendors and such, I heard one of the vendors and I think somebody local talking about how it had been a running fair, but it stopped running in the last few years. So, like, it had been going pretty strong, I guess, and the last 4 or 5 years, it just didn't happen for whatever reason. I'm assuming COVID reasons. Anyway, somebody else bought the fair this year, bought the rights to do the fair. And they put it on again this year. So it is back this year. That's the little gossip that I heard. It is put on by a company that does several other Ren fairs across the Midwest, like Nebraska, etc., Oklahoma City, I think. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is kind of new. So it's probably going to be pretty small, but this same company runs several other Renaissance fair events. So I'm going to go check it out. And you can see I'm at a hotel. Funny enough, this Ren Fair was on my way to a place that I am for a work trip. So it's kind of a happy coincidence. I was like, okay, well, I'll leave a couple hours early. I'll go check out this new Ren Fair. Then I'll get where I'm going for this conference. So it just worked out really well. This is a one-weekend festival, June 21st and 22nd. I went on Sunday, June 22nd. Tickets were $15 a piece. They had different options, like you could do a family pack of like 4 tickets and then everybody gets like a souvenir mug and such and stuff like that. But just for a single day adult ticket for one day was $15 online. In person, it would have been $18 at the gate. Although I will say with tax and stuff added on, it was almost $18 to purchase online. I assume there would be additional fees to purchase in person as well. I didn't ask, but there's that information. I really liked that this fair is kind of set in like a local park and also a campground. So like I drove in past a bunch of RVs and such. I think that's a great thing if you want to come out and camp. That's super fun. But that also means there's a little bit more infrastructure. It's not out in the middle of nowhere. And also the parking was on cement. So I didn't have to park in the grass, which I really, really love. And I will also note that there was not an additional charge for parking. On the Facebook page for the event, somebody said, the page said, we will not charge for parking and we will never charge for parking unless we have to have staff run a parking lot. Then we need to charge so that we can pay our staff. It's like, cool, that makes sense. So I got in there, parked, got ready, and I knew it was going to be hot. But it was the kind of hot where like the minute you step out of your car, you're sweating. Like the minute you step out of anywhere, you are immediately sweating. So I got out and started getting dressed in the parking lot at my trunk. So much sweating already. And I put on sunscreen, but I missed some spots. You can kind of see a little bit of a sunburn here. It's worse on my back. I was not able to get my back very well. Such is life. The other thing with that heat is that my phone kept overheating. So I was trying to record, like I was literally in the parking lot recording myself getting ready in the parking lot, and my phone in the shade, like resting on the inside of my trunk, was like overheated, can't record. So I guess that was foreshadowing for how much I was going to sweat, because that happened several times throughout my time at this Ren Fair. Obviously not the Ren Fair's fault, just showing you a little bit how much I was struggling. And I did not regret getting all dressed up. I love it. People complimented my outfit. We love to see it. But man, it was so hot. Like, I don't think I've ever sweat so much in my life. Like, it was over 100, which is a lot for the Midwest. Yeah, so that is my biggest thing that affected my day, was how freaking hot it was. But anyway, so I walked in there. I had a QR code on my phone saying like, yep, this is my ticket. Somebody scanned it at the gates. We're good to go. And they're also like, here, you can take a schedule for the day. and then also a tiny duck. So they gave us a tiny little duck, which I thought was so cute. The schedule was very helpful. I wish there had also been a map on it because I was kind of having trouble finding places. But on the schedule, it was the same thing for both days. So Joust was at 3 o'clock on Saturday and on Sunday. And I got to go to the 3 o'clock Joust, which was so much fun. There had a tiny little bit that was under a tent. All the seats had already been taken, but there was a little spot on the grass next to some reserved seats, and I was like, I'm just gonna go in and sit in this grass because it is so freaking hot. I'm so glad I did because I literally got like first row footage of everything, and it was so fun. The staff at the fair did a great job of hyping up the crowd. Like, I have never seen such a hyped and like locked in crowd at a joust. Like, they were very clear, like, everybody on this side is for William, everybody on this side is for Joseph, and like the crowd was getting so into it, and it was like a community feeling almost.
Raise your voices for Sir William! Sir William!
They like ran at each other 3 times on the horses. Nobody got knocked off the horse this time. So then they went into like hand-to-hand combat, and they definitely had some special effects in there. Like, definitely, somebody had a like, I don't remember what they're called, but like a little packet of blood in their teeth, so that when they got hit in the face, it was like fake blood spraying out. And there was a similar effect with like a mace type weapon later. So it was super fun.
All right, little brother.
And I think my other favorite thing is, like, not only was I able to be so close, I could also hear everything. They had a speaker and everything, but they didn't end up using it. They were just like projecting their voices really loud. And because we were close and I was in the front row, I could hear everything. And that's something I struggle with a lot at these other fairs is, like, if I can't hear what the announcer's saying, I'm not going to be as into it. Like, of course, I love the joust. I love seeing them joust. But being able to actually hear it, amazing. I was so into it. I was like, yep, we are we are here. I am supporting William. I hope he wins. All that stuff. And I will say, so the excessive heat, they were really great about the horses. They were like, we know you guys want to meet the horses. We have to protect them in this heat. So as soon as we're done here, the horses are going to go cool off. And I was like, mad respect for that. I appreciate that they're taking care of those animals. Other aspects of this festival, they did not do a bag check at the front. I'm pretty sure I saw something on the event page that they didn't want you to bring an outside food or drink, but nobody was looking for that. I'm hoping mainly because it was so hot, they were like, just let people bring in water and Gatorade and stuff like that. Like, it's dangerous if you're not hydrating out there. I will say also on their Facebook page, they were like, please hydrate before you come. Please hydrate. Please hydrate. So I also love that they were like trying to get people to hydrate before, like, just like the care that went into it. I really appreciate. I will also say there was not a ton of like food or water options available. There were a few right in the front and then like a snow cone place all the way in the back. If that is the true rule that you can't bring any of your own food or beverage in from outside, I think that should probably change. I mean, not really. I'm not really like a big fan of that policy anyway, But if you're only going to have like a handful of things to choose from, you cannot stop people from bringing in their food, like because of dietary things and stuff. And I think that was an exception. Like if you have some dietary or medical thing, of course, bring your own stuff. But anyway, that's that's my tirade on that. I did not see any water fountain. If somebody was there and they did see a water fountain, let me know in the comments. But definitely, so I had been packing for this work trip, right? So I had a whole little cooler in my car with me. I had like several Gatorades, some seltzer water, regular water. I had filled up a reusable water bottle with ice when I left, but I was like, I'm not going to die of heat stroke at the Ren Fair today. And I didn't, clearly, here I am, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, so then I just spent a little bit of time wandering around this festival. They had some other shows. I did see some Armored Combat. I didn't stay and watch the show though, so I just like kind of saw it from a distance. There was a falconry show that I saw just a tiny bit of, and a couple other little shows. They had some musicians. They had this really cute amphitheater as part of the park, and there was a little stage set up in that shade in the amphitheater. And I did go there a little bit just to cool off before I went back to my car. And it was great. There was chairs. It was really calm up there, shade, some nice music. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Everything else, there were quite a few vendors, some of which I saw some amazing stuff, like clearly handmade. And some of the shops, like the vibe that they had was amazing. Like I was like, can I live here, please? But then some of them also, I was like, I've definitely seen this on Amazon and AliExpress and things like that. So just like any other like makers market, craft fair type thing, like just do your due diligence. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Again, there were some that were definitely handmade and I was really impressed by. As a person that also makes clothes and is a crafter and a creator, sometimes I get a little discouraged when I see a lot of things that are definitely mass produced and super cheap to buy and then upsell. I will say there was also like a lot of open space at this fair, and I am assuming that it's because it was so hot, nobody wanted to be out. And also, when I walked through some of that big open area, it was super muddy. So I think they just kind of tried to keep the vendors and the tents and everything away from all of the muddiness. I didn't end up buying any merch or anything. I didn't end up buying any costume pieces. I didn't even end up buying any food or anything. I almost got a snow cone. It was very tempting, but I ended up not doing that. I will say, observing the Facebook page, like there was clearly some drama happening on the Facebook page about the Saturday event. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I think it was just long lines and heat and people getting frustrated by that. I definitely saw somebody saying that they waited like 30 minutes in a line for water, and that's just not good. And I'm not blaming the event people for that. Oh, maybe a little bit, but this is a first time event, at least the first time this event has taken place in several years, and with a new owner. So of course they're going to have stuff that they have to work out. And definitely on Sunday, I think it was a lot better because I didn't really have to there wasn't really anything that I saw that I was like, this is unacceptable. So yeah, and the Facebook page did say, thank you so much for your patience with us. We are learning and we are taking your feedback into consideration for future events. So I do really hope that this little fair continues. I know with the rise and popularity of Renaissance fairs, it probably will. And honestly, this work trip I'm on, it's a trip I do about this time every single year. So if it comes back again next year, I will probably do the same thing where I go in and take a little pit stop in there before I head over to where I need to be for my conference. And I would definitely say this is a much smaller Ren Fair. It's not, definitely had more of a small community gathering vibe, which is not bad. I do really love the smaller Ren Fairs. Just something to note, it's not going to be super established like the Kentucky Highlands Renaissance Fair or the Ohio Renaissance Festival, things like that. This is much smaller, but smaller doesn't mean bad. As far as the vibes for the Ren Fair go, it was probably the heat, but there were not a ton of people dressed up. There were some that were amazing. I will also say the fair had some like specific costume characters that were accepting tips. So there was like a pirate couple, and there was obviously the royalty, king and queen, and there was also Sprout, and I can't remember his name, but a goblin. I'll put some footage in here. I did not actually see Sprout up close. I don't think I got any footage of her, but I am familiar with her from the Ohio Renaissance Festival, so it was fun to see her out there. I did enjoy my time. I definitely think it was worth it. I wish it hadn't been as hot. I would definitely go again. And if you're local to the area, I would say absolutely head out there. Would I travel about 3 hours to this place had I not also been going in this direction anyway? Probably not. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just, there is not as much shit there to do as at a more established run fair. And actually, we're going to talk about my outfit here. It is all thrifted. So I'm going to take a moment to talk about my outfit. Most of this outfit is thrifted. I got this dress, I think it's a Knox Rose brand, originally from Target for like $5 at a Goodwill. This corset I bought for like maybe $10 at another thrift store. The skirt I made myself. You can check one of my other videos. I made it last year for the Great Lakes Renaissance Festival. My boots, which you cannot see in this, maybe, are thrifted. It's my typical Ren Fair boots. And this belt bag is actually thrifted too. I guess so. The only other things I did not make are this gold belt and this hat. I got it on clearance from Spirit Halloween last season. And even my necklaces are thrifted, actually, and bracelets. My necklaces and bracelets are thrifted. So super happy with the thrifted Ren Fair look. The bodice I was wearing was thrifted, and it was the first time I've ever actually worn it. And it was actually a little big for me, which I was not expecting. So I'm not sure if I had lost weight since the last time I bought it or what. Definitely a little big in my chest. So if I ever wear that one again, I will probably do some work on that so it doesn't feel as like gaping open. Obviously, I had a dress on underneath it, so I wasn't going to show anything, but I was in a rush and I had to get out the door, so I just like threw some stuff in a bag and was like, pirate look it is. And honestly, I didn't realize how much like pirate attire would be there. There definitely was a lot, so I'm glad that I kind of last minute chose pirate. And that brings me to the end of this video. Do you have other Ren fairs that you would recommend or that you want more information on? Leave a comment below. I'd love to check some more out. I have more on my radar, but you know, maybe this season, maybe next season, we'll see what's going on. But if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, share with a friend. All of that stuff really helps this video do well. It helps this channel and supports me doing this content. So I will love you forever if you do any of those things. Thanks again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.